Hello again, everybody. I'm going for part two, excuse me. And I don't know if you saw part one of my Screw You, Mr. Whopper Maker. But I'm going with part two that is going to be Screw You, Mr. Candy Bag Stuffer. And I know you guys are like, what is this idiot talking about? But when I was a child, I lived in a neighborhood that did not have a ton of children that came through trick-or-treating. So my mother, we did not have a lot of money growing up. We were like, most families, we struggled. My dad, had a good job and whatever, but my parents were very frugal, and that is, so candy was important to children. We all understand that. I felt like we were good kids, but my mother never really let us, dive into candy, but when it came to Halloween, she did let us buy that one big 5-pound bag of trick-or-treat candy. But you see, we knew as kids that we didn't have a lot of trick-or-treaters. So that candy was in turn going to be ours after Halloween was over with. So the precise picking of that 5-pound bag of candy was extremely, extremely important. So as a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid, one thing that I am excellent at is math. Since I was a child, I love math. I can do it. I can do everything about it. So now I'm going to dive into some of my elementary school math, and I look and there is multiple bags. So obviously, do I really want the 5-pound bag of same candy? No. Can you ever truly find out about the 5-pound, can you find that 5-pound bag that has all of the pieces of candy that you love and would cherish after Halloween is over with? No, but you have to do the laws of math and figure out where your best odds are. So I find that bag, and of course the bag that I like has 5 candies, 4 of which I love, and 1 of which I don't. And I think I can tell you where you're going with this, and this is how I know that candy bag stuffer was out to get me. Because I feel like he had the same likings that I did. So what do we got? We have Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I don't care who you are, top 5 anywhere. There was the Kit Kat. Solid 2 pieces, just enough to wet the whistle. Maybe you go in for a 2. When the big guy was $3.50 plus, he might have went in for 4 or 5, or 4 or 5 of each. Whatever was the situation that day. Number 3 was the Snickers, okay? I'm a Snickers guy. I'm not a Milky Way guy. I don't understand why you want to bite into something that is like airy and gross. Like why wouldn't you want it stuffed with peanuts? But you know what, you Milky Way people, it is what it is. I get it, woo. But I'm gonna go with it. And number 4, I have the Snickers, I have the peanut butter cups, I have the Kit Kat, and I have the Whoppers box, okay? The Whoppers box, I didn't really, know what they were when I was really young, and then all of a sudden I understood. I loved them, the chewiness, they were the bomb. But now we come to number 5, and I know that I'm gonna have some people that think, they love those. Well, you know what? You're freaking weird if you love the Almond Joy, okay? Who the F loves the Almond Joy, all right? I'm gonna tell you who. My parents, all right? Anybody that was born from 1950 and below loves the Almond Joy. Or you maybe 8 to 10% of kids out there that love the Almond Joy. And the only reason is because you're that kid that always has to go against what everybody else says. Because there's no effing way you like an Almond Joy. An Almond Joy is gross. Who the hell wants coconut or whatever that? And what's that counterpart brother that has Almond Joy and or Mounds or something? Whoa! Yeah, good. All right? So keep that out. So now, me, being a 7-year-old math major, I do the math. We're looking at, it says 100 to 110 pieces of candy, which I don't really understand why we can't have an exact amount, but they're going to give me a range, but then I figured it out later on. Because the Almond Joy weighs more, so that means you get less. So if you got the 100 pieces of candy, it's because they loaded you up with the Almond Joy. So I do the math. We have 5. So ideally, we should have 100 pieces of candy, which means 80 of which, because we should be doing 20 a piece, 100 pieces, 80 of which I love. Well, you know what? The other 20, I can live with it. It's a little separation. They go towards mom and dad. When mom and dad say, hey, Kev, grab me a piece of candy, I'm going to give them the Almond Joy probably 9 out of 10 times until they start getting annoyed. But then I figured by the 10th time, if each of them do 9, we're at 18. I only got 2 left. And you know what? The dog, I know chocolate's not good for the dog, but you know what? It's got coconut in it. He'll be fine. So now I'm good with it. So what do? I come home and I open up the bag and I dump in that big bowl, which I used to love the big bowl when you would go to that house and the little old lady, 9-year-old lady say, take one please. I don't think I'll take 1 bucket. Boop. But anyhow, I go, I open it. We're not going to put that outside. I will physically only give each kid 1 piece so I can keep my 80 loud pieces. And I'm sorry to the first, I don't say, 10 to 12 kids that come to the door, you're getting the Almond Joy. Because this kid was a chubby kid, and chubby kids love their Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They love their Snickers, they love their Kit Kats, and they love their Whoppers. But they are willing to share the Almond Joy. So now I have this little anxiety. As a kid that didn't have a lot, candy was big. I pour it into the big pumpkin bowl that my mother puts out in front of the door. And I kid you not, there was at least 40 to 50% of Almond Joys. And I just stood there in disbelief. And now this is 35 years later, and I have one message to give. Screw you, Mr. Candy Stuffer of Bags. Almond Joys suck, and you should have your ass kicked. Anyways, that is part 2 of my Screw You segment, but screw you, Mr. Candy Stuffer. No one likes Almond Joys. They're gross. If you like them, you're weird. I don't care who you are, or you're born before 1950. Depression and anxiety is real. Hopefully I put a smile on your face. If you smile on the inside, hopefully it'll start to smile on the outside. Stay on the living side of life, everyone. My name's Kevin. I'm out of Syracuse, New York. You take care of yourself.